Sheikh Mohammed is going to meet justice, and he's going to meet his maker.
The White House has no doubt about the verdict and sentence, but the big problem is when, where and how. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed admits masterminding 9/11/2001, but politicians can't agree on where he should be tried. A federal court in Lower Manhattan had been selected, but New York doesn't want it, and the Obama administration, forced to reconsider, remains committed to a civilian court trial, at least for now.
We want to see this man tried and brought to justice in the place in which the crime was committed.
Legal experts say Gibbs's meet his maker comments are shocking and reduce the chances of a fair trial.
They're sending these prosecutors to prosecute these cases, but at the same time, with statements like Mr. Gibbs, they're making the prosecutors' jobs much more difficult because they're arming defense lawyers with additional arguments.
With Guantanamo closing, options for trying Khalid Sheikh Mohammed are limited. He could be tried in a civilian court in New York as planned. Extra funding to beef up security is likely to be announced this week. Or the trial could be moved to a town elsewhere in New York State, such as Newburgh, where the mayor has said he'd welcome the extra business it would bring in. Or a civilian court might be set up on an existing base, such as the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. Here on Capitol Hill, the administration's coming under intense pressure from huge numbers of Republicans and some Democrats who say whether it's Khalid Sheikh Mohammed or Umar Abdul Muttalib, the alleged Detroit Christmas Day plane bomber, they should not be tried by civilian federal court, but rather by military tribunal. Opposition Republicans are vowing to block funding for all civilian trials of people they think should be tried as enemy combatants.
Interrogate them, detain them, and try them in military commissions offshore at Guantanamo, from which no one has ever escaped.
Mitch McConnell says that's what most Americans would prefer, but some lawyers caution otherwise.
If the Obama administration decides to backpedal and to try these men in the military commissions that afford fewer protections to defendants, then the Obama administration will have a real problem on its hands, because it's said all along that it intends to give the 9/11 defendants a fair trial, and the military commissions don't provide that fair trial.
As politicians scramble to find a venue to try Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, they know the entire U.S. justice system is also under scrutiny. The Obama administration must strike a balance between reaching the verdict desired by most Americans, that of guilty, while at the same time making sure the accused gets a fair trial. John Terrett, Al Jazeera, Washington.